my channel. My name is Becca and welcome to my first trimester recap. Now, this is so crazy to even be able to say, but obviously I am pregnant. If you have not seen it, I did post a pregnancy announcement video before this one up, and I have a couple different first trimester videos that I filmed, of course, during the first trimester that will be going up as well, so definitely check those out, and there might be a couple after this video as well. But I wanted to give you guys a first trimester recap, kind of the way most people do weekly updates, just because since I didn't announce it to the public until 12 weeks, you know, I wanted to compile a lot of stuff from my first trimester and still be able to put videos up from my first trimester so that I'm really documenting my entire pregnancy, even if those videos are, you know, a little bit in the past when I put them up. So I hope that makes sense. So there are gonna be a couple more videos, I think, that are gonna be filmed during my first trimester that will go up. And then we'll go back into the real time of current updates and different types of pregnancy videos. So definitely let me know what kind of videos you wanna see, because I am looking for so many ideas throughout my pregnancy, just to be able to document it, but also to be able to do some fun different baby videos. So let me know, and let's get into my first trimester recap. Now, I am actually filming this at about 11 and a half weeks. I know most people say that like reaching week 13 is kind of what they mark to be their second trimester. However, I will reach week 13 around the day after my wedding, and this entire week coming up is just wedding stuff. So I figured, you know what, I'm almost 12 weeks, and nothing's gonna change in one more week, let's be honest. So I'm just gonna put everything together for my first trimester and share with you guys what has been going on so far. Now, I did write stuff down so that I knew. I'm not gonna include the stuff from my 2-week wait. If you wanna see a video of like symptoms during my 2-week wait, I'll totally do that as well. But I will say that my first symptoms of pregnancy really started around 6 weeks, because I found out around 3.5 weeks. I was only between 8 and 11 DPO when I found out. So I didn't have symptoms until around 6 weeks at all. And the first symptom I really experienced was just fatigue. From weeks 6 to 8, that was pretty much the only symptom I had, but it was so extreme. I was just so tired. I'm not someone who likes to nap, but I was just sleeping all the time. But honestly, like, I was grateful for that, but it also stressed me out, because of course, when you're so early, it is really scary if you don't have symptoms, because of course it's gonna make you think, you know, is there really a baby in there? Is it doing okay? There's a lot of thoughts that go through your head. Going along with that, I definitely started having anxiety very early, though. I should include that. Since I found out at about 3.5 weeks, I had major anxiety leading up to 5 weeks, just because based on what I've read, you're considered a chemical pregnancy loss until 5 weeks. That's when it becomes a clinical pregnancy, if I'm speaking correctly. So because chemical pregnancies are so common, and they're so much more common than any of us realize, I was definitely scared of how I found out so early. You know, I was scared because I had to make sure I reached that day so that I could be like, okay, you know, I'm past the chemical range, now I'm in the regular pregnancy. And then after the 5-week range, I did confirm pregnancy with an ultrasound, but my next ultrasound was at 7 weeks. So then I had that 2 weeks until about 7 weeks where I was just stressed out because I wanted to know there was a heartbeat. And that was a big thing for me, because statistically, you have a less chance of a miscarriage if you see or hear that heartbeat. Like, that's such a huge thing, because a lot of people that miscarry very early never hear it. So that was a big thing for me. Knowing there was a heartbeat was such a huge thing. So after the 7-week ultrasound, I didn't have another until 10 weeks, but I was really feeling a lot better in those 3 weeks in between regarding anxiety. And at my 10-week ultrasound, I did get to hear it with a Doppler as well, and everything was still perfectly good. But I think that 7 weeks was when my anxiety started to go down just a little bit, because I got the heartbeat, and that was so big for me. So other symptoms, this stuff I all marked starting around 8 to 8.5 weeks is when I started getting a lot more symptoms. Fatigue stayed the same. I definitely had sore nipples, not my whole breast in general, but my nipples super sore. and nausea. I have not had technical morning sickness because I have not vomited. I have not had any vomiting at all. However, I did have nausea. It wasn't as bad. I wrote down, yeah, it wasn't bad in the morning if I got up and ate right away. I naturally am someone who likes to like get up, drink my coffee for an hour or two, and then eat later, and that's just how I've always been. But now I have to eat as soon as I get up in the morning, and if I do, I will feel okay. My nausea definitely has gotten worse towards the evening or even in the middle of the night, especially if I didn't eat as well or if I was more tired that day. But I was really good with kind of controlling my nausea. I think I'm gonna include that in a video, like my tips and supplements for pregnancy, because I definitely, like when I did have nausea at all, really controllable for me. I can't complain. It really wasn't that bad. I started getting vivid dreams very early as well, and I think that had to do with anxiety more than anything because I don't have them as much now. But I would say from weeks like 5 to 8, I had a lot of vivid dreams that were like nightmare dreams. One thing that does suck is I definitely had constipation. I don't really anymore, but for the first few weeks there, such bad constipation, and I think it made my nausea a little bit worse because I noticed that my nausea kind of peaked at about week 9 and then faded, and honestly it was never that bad, so I'm not trying to complain. Like, I did not have bad nausea, I never threw up, but it definitely peaked at that point and then went down, and same with the constipation. I also found myself a little more anxious at night as well, like before bed, and I think maybe that had to do with the fact that I was having like nightmares pretty often in the beginning. But yeah, I mean, it's not as bad now, but I definitely find myself like thinking of the worst things possible randomly. And I think that just goes with the anxiety of like being pregnant, being in your first trimester, your first child, things like that. And then I also have not had any weight gain yet, but I've had a lot of bloating for sure. During week 8, I started peeing at night way more to where it's very noticeable. I probably am up every hour or two to pee. It's not that bad because I'm still sleeping good in between, but definitely noticeable. Then I wrote down in week 9, I started really wanting sweets. I honestly am not a huge candy person, and the only candy I really like are Reese's, so it's not hard for me to not buy candy or eat candy, but starting in week 9, I've wanted things like lollipops a lot and like Starbursts and stuff. Like, for some reason, having something like a lollipop really helps me feel better, which is odd, but that's been the craving. And again, my nausea and fatigue were both at the worst around week 9, and then going into week 10, things definitely got a little bit different. For one, that was when I got to actually hear the heartbeat on a Doppler, and it was in the 160s, which was really good. It went from the 140s to the 160s, so everything was good there. And then I started noticing I started getting like a chest rash, and I used to get that as a child a little bit. I think it's some form of eczema, but I haven't had it in a long time. But I definitely get a little bit rashy on my chest right now. I have been breaking out a lot more, which you might be able to see on camera, but my like chin area is definitely breaking out more, which sucks, but that's pregnancy hormones. And I also definitely had some back pain. That has definitely been a little bit sucky, especially at night, but I am staying active, so I think it's definitely helping with any of that kind of thing. But yeah, honestly, those are all of the symptoms I can really update on, and the only other stuff you guys have probably seen because I am posting, I think it's already up before this video, the telling my mom I'm pregnant video, which was so fun. We got to tell my mom and my fiance's mom on Christmas Eve. We told my dad on Christmas Day, and then we told his dad a little bit later, but it was literally the best like Christmas present ever. We had our first ultrasound to confirm the pregnancy, which was at 5 weeks, and we did that on Christmas Eve. So super fun. There's not a lot of events to really update on though during my first trimester because honestly, I've just been sleeping and doing my schoolwork because I'm about to graduate college. And the only other stuff is just preparing for our wedding, which is literally happening at the very end of my first trimester. So that is our next thing to prepare for. But yeah, that is it for my first trimester recap video. Let me know how you guys want to see pregnancy updates in the future, if you want them weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. I'm definitely looking to start doing them so I can really share a lot more information by like not putting 3 months all together at once. But yeah, that was my first trimester pretty much. Be sure to go check out my other pregnancy videos that have gone up. I have my announcement up and a couple other things. And then there are a couple other first trimester videos that might go up after this as well, I think. And then I also will start getting all of my second trimester videos out in the current time as well. But that is it for this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.